Hello, everyone. A very good evening to all of you at home right now. So, those who are tuning in, thank you so much. Today, as usual, I always say that we are always with a hot topic. So, when I mentioned hot topic, it was a bit of messages that came through from friends that, hey, do you need a hack on or do you need a fan? No, 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 not about that. I'm not talking about humidity. Yeah. I'm talking about the conversation that we are going to go on with, and you should know who I'm going to have the conversation with, which of course is Sasi. So without any deal, I'm going to bring this person up, and we are going to trash some things out, right? Trash means not real feast fights because he's the owner of Fight Zone, but I'm going to take a step back or duck a bit if I can. But we are going to talk a lot of topics based on experiences, based on the situation that we are going through, how the mindset, and this guy is a phenomenon guy that we worked with together for more than I think 10 over years. We work hand in hand, side by side. So I know a little of his secrets, and he knows lots of my secrets. So without any ado, I'm going to bring that particular person up. Sase!
Look at you, man. Look at you. Hello, everyone. I'm very, very honored to be on Coffee with Ones. I actually prepared a coffee as well. So yeah, and yeah, I know you have prepared a hot topic, and I
Yeah,
think we are going to deviate from time to time, knowing both of us.
of course.
And I'm
And
sure there will be comments and people who know us, and there'll be a whole bunch of people we work with. We worked together for. I was in Cali for 13 years,
yeah,
right?
you are.
Yeah.
Okay, we have
So,
probably have people saying hi to us, Asi. A couple of people
hello.
already on.
Hey,
Uh, and then we
Suki is
have
here as well.
hi,
Yeah.
Nero. Yes,
Hello.
along the way, if you have any question for the both of us, please, because we are not looking into a book and we are talking about motivation. It is pure blood, sweat, the misery, the happiness, the success, the failure kind of experiences that just coming out. So there's no filter. It's going to be all right. There's no more filter. In the past, when we
Yep.
talk, we always try to be very indirect. But right now, as entrepreneurs, when you're running your own businesses, I think you have to be sometimes just straightforward. If it hurts, it hurts. If
Yeah.
it's good, it feels good. So, Sasi, let's jump into the topic because we have almost 21 viewers right now watching what we are going to say. So, I think we better do a pretty good job here. What do you think?
Yeah. I think we do well. I think we do well. You can start it off, and we're talking
I
about motivation. Yeah.
the last time when we both together, if I still remember, and I think I'm going to share this experience when you were auditing me because when I took over the role of a master trainer, because you were the master trainer for that California Fitness at that
Yeah.
point of time. But then when you went
Yeah.
to a different role, of course, I was being selected, interviewed. So I remember when I was doing a presentation, you were like sitting down there, like, okay, okay, you're taking down. So I'm talking about the respiratory system. I'm talking about the heart, the diabetes, the blood pressure, so many things about the
Yeah.
fitness and part. So I know you've been, giving marks, but right now we are in a
Hmm.
conversation. It's feeling honored and to be blessed talking
Yeah.
with you, buddy.
Thank you, Balan. Thank you. I still remember those times. Yeah. But
Yes. So,
I remember telling myself during the audit that he seems to be talking like me, right?
okay.
And I was like, wow. I was like amazed. Yeah. But you did well, and yeah, everyone calls you master
Thank you,
now.
Sasi. Thank you. Thank you. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm humbled, but I think working with you back then, I think was a very great pleasure because sometimes most of the time when people talk, they just talk about book experiences. But I
Yeah.
think when you share a story that is
Yeah.
based on your life experiences, then it makes a very impact to people who are listening. And of course, people who like it, people who don't dislike it, people who like it is a blessing. People who don't like it, we got to try harder to make them like
Yeah.
us. No,
Yeah.
there's always, lovers will always love us, haters will always hate us. But hey, if you're hating us, you better have a good reason, because we are lover boys. Okay, Sasi. So let's jump
Yeah.
into the topic. Today the topic, of course, it's motivation, but I'm going to bring in a little bit more deeper because when we mention motivation, it's just like Googling up and then find some quotes and say, oh, I'm motivated. Just being mindset or physical. But motivation is such a big thing that we talk about, right? It's about physical, it's about mental, it's about well-being, it's about holistic. What is your
Yeah.
take on motivation?
I think my take on motivation is it's very simple in what you wake up, the reasons you wake up for every day, right? And it changes through our life. I mean, when I was working in a big organization like California Fitness, it was all about waking up, going to work, getting your numbers done, getting it right, talking to people, and the good thing is when you are in a position in an organization like that, you also have to motivate all those around you, no matter how stressed you get, right? So, simple in life now, it's what motivates me to get up and see my little boy over here trying to get into the live video. Yeah, but what motivates you to get up, do your things, and not finding a reason for it? Not, but it's very easy during the circuit breaker to feel. I mean, I have multiple days where I actually feel a bit kind of like, did I do enough today? Right? Because you're not doing anything. You're stuck at home, right? I'm not asking myself, did I do it? Was I productive today? But this is a time where we can't. We just have to sit down, regroup. We have to plan, and actually go ahead with the plans that matter, plans that are the most important. Yeah. So I also try and make random calls to my staff. I think some of my staff are also online watching. Um, to make sure during this period, they don't feel down, they don't feel it's uncertain times, right? And the person who manages to go out this is the person who can motivate himself automatically every day, right? And honestly, it's hard. There's 24 hours a day, and sometimes you can only motivate yourself for a couple of hours, right? The rest of the hours, sometimes you got to switch off. You got to take that break, right? You can't keep running like a choo-choo train. I think there's different levels of motivation right now, honestly. And even for our kids, our family, everybody around us, there's different levels. What you see, like for example, for yourself, right? I've seen you do live videos every single day, right? And it must take time, it must take energy, it must. Although I'm sure you enjoy this conversation, I'm sure you enjoy having that coffee with you, right? But there's also you must be motivated to do it. It's so easy to say, you know what, I'll take a break this week, I'll do it next week, right? Yeah, it's so easy to say that, but yeah, what you're doing is, you got to keep going.
Having said that, what you just said, because over the past 1 2 months during this circuit breaker, I mean,
Mm,
I think we have talked this about also, that we have spoken to so many people,
mm,
in terms of physical, in terms of mental. But I think there are many cases that we are seeing right now. People are going through humongous numbers of issues at the moment:
yeah,
anxiety,
yeah,
depressions, some kind of boredom that is taking into them. And of course, like, I saw in an interview you and Sakti did it. I think that was great
yeah,
as well. I mean, talking about in terms of businesses, how your experiences back then in California Fitness helped you or helped me as well. But
yeah,
but do you think, Sasi, that having done with so many years with California Fitness that we've been through, do you think that the
yeah.
hardship, I'm going to use the hardship, I'm not going to give you credits for this, right? Do you think that the hardship is what made us a perfect person?
Okay. California Fitness was different, right? It was a big organization that had multiple plans, right? So they had various ways of motivating us. Some people worked really hard for the money, right? I remember has the first time. Let's talk about the first time I joined Cali, which was 2003, right? I remember. I remember walking into that one big club. That time there were no big fitness clubs in Singapore. There was only one. We were in the middle of Orchard Road, and Orchard Road was the place to be at that time, right? And I remember watching all my senior trainers drive very nice cars, and I'm like, wow, you can be a personal trainer and you can drive a very nice car. And then I was 22 years old at that time, right? And when I thought about it, when you're 22 and you see like people being very successful in what they do, right? Um, it kind of like motivates you. You want to be someone like that. If they can do it, why can't I do it? You know? And that was the first motivating factor that I felt first. And honestly, at that point in time, when I came in, I just finished my degree. Was supposed to go to the sports school. Sports school was delayed, and you start pushing as a kid, as a fresh out of university. You're trying to get into your first job, and you're like, if I can make this money, right? You start getting clouded. There's different parts of motivation. As we grow, there were different motivations for us. And I think there's a bunch of people that used to be from Cali watching us as well. So if they're asking questions, we'll be happy to answer,
Yes, yes,
right?
they already
But yeah,
nothing.
that hardship, it was hard. It was really hard, right? Because you got to get up, you got to hit your targets, you got to make sure you. And when we, I think, as I wanted to be a master trainer first, right? So I wanted to do something worthwhile, right? And then so I thought being a master trainer would be easy. You just coach, like you said, that textbook and all that. I sat down and wrote them, right? So when I was 23, I wrote this textbook for Kelly, and we started doing that. And my life changed when, as a master trainer, enjoying life, not worrying so much about numbers, just training my clients, making sure they get results. When one of my bosses came, took me out for lunch and told me, okay, from tomorrow onwards, you're going to be the acting fitness manager of this club. And then my life completely changed because that was when it started. That was when it started. Okay, I got to drive this amount of numbers. I got to motivate 45 trainers to do their job, right? And yeah, I think that was the hardest thing to digest, but I needed to. I mean, everyone has a character, you want to overcome that obstacle, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and all at that point in time, I think that became one of the hardships. Like you asked me, what are the hardships that prepared me for this world? Rather than hardships as well, I mean, we've been through a lot of hardships, honestly. Rather than hardships as well, we also learned the business, right? There was always a structure to help you understand, right? In my, I was lucky at that time. There were good mentors above me, right? That I mean, everybody has their own agenda. If you get better, they get better, right? So they spend a lot of time making me understand the business, which I'm truly grateful for, which made me now being an entrepreneur for yeah, for the past 3 years, made me understand a lot that everything is on your owners, whether the business succeeds, whether we do well this month, whether we don't, right? Whether you keep all the staff motivated, because there is a likelihood that staff, sometimes, like in Cali, we hit 1 month, work so hard, we hit our numbers, we celebrate, and then the first 5 days of next month, we take it easy, come to work at 12 o'clock and all that. And all of a sudden, you realize you're way behind this month, right? And then you got to start doing. So the person who is the most balanced will succeed, right? He doesn't take the highs and the lows. The person who's most balanced succeeds. It's the same with our businesses right now because, like when I was talking to Sakti and I met a lot of business owners who spoke to me. There's a lot of worries, right? There's a lot of worries. Okay, what if this doesn't go right? What if this doesn't go wrong, right? And what if, yeah, sorry, I got my boy peeking into our window, but yeah, yeah. But what if, a lot of what ifs, and this what ifs will eat into you, right? Yeah, will eat into you and prevent you from doing the best you can actually do. So that ultimately built character. I think it also built your character because you evolved from the first time I saw you as a senior trainer into being a master trainer, and then you became a sales trainer, right?
Yeah.
And in our line of work in fitness, right, unfortunately, as much as you believe in fitness, as much as you want to want people to get results, if you can't sell your product, if you can't build a brand, you got no clients. That's it, right? So so it I remember when I went to Cali and I realized sales was a big part of my job. It took me honestly about 3 weeks to digest that because I came here to be a trainer, right? But after
Yeah.
digesting it, and I realized one of my managers told me then that you're such a good trainer, it'd be more worthwhile for people to pay you than pay everyone else, right? So it kind of like, oh, I'm a young kid, and this guy is telling me that, and it got me motivated. That one line immediately got me motivated and made it easier for me to sell, right? So sometimes it's about touching everyone's hot spot. What is gonna make this guy motivated to go out and build this business with you, right? Yeah, that is this bit. I think you when we were in Cali, you were in Raffles in initial part, and I was in Orchard, right? So that was the two biggest clubs and two oldest clubs in Singapore. Yeah, yeah. I mean that hardship kind of like, um, the one thing is the things we went through in Cali. It kind of like motivates me now that no matter how hard things get, there will be a way to find your way around it. There will be one way, right? Yeah, that's what I believe in, and that's why I keep going. Yeah, yeah,
Sasi, I think it's spot on because there was advantages and there's a lot of disadvantages.
yeah,
So rather than
exactly.
talking advantages, let's talk about disadvantages, right?
Yeah,
Um, because I think it's during the stress time that make someone either melt down or to make
yeah,
it into the top of his success career. So I think when we talk about disadvantages, it was like pretty. I mean, sorry for my English. It really sucked. It sucked big time, right? We were working like 20 hours a day and
yeah,
tremendous amount of stress. You got to say it's tremendous
yeah,
amount of stress, and people out there just making money day by day.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
mean, of course, we are as well, but the amount of pressure that's been pressed down to us and to all our
yeah,
trainers was so much.
yeah,
You're talking about that. Of course, as you either you make it big or either you don't make it big at all, right? You
yeah,
don't succeed at all. But
yeah,
what I think is those who have the resilience and the perseverance to push it through, like what you said, is during this time, like the COVID period time, you might
uh,
probably feel a little stressed, but you know what? This is just nothing compared because you have seen the worst. So that right now it's not even the worst at all. Do you agree to that?
I'm like glancing on my phone and looking at the comments, and I just saw Zach say, "Damn, such a good topic." Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh wow, yeah." Um, yeah, there were different kinds of trainers, right? Right, and they always. I mean, Kelly paid us well, right? I'm not arguing with that. Kelly paid us really well, but the amount of stress that you drive into all these people made it in everybody's minds a sales job, right? But then again, the truth is, yeah, you don't have sales, you don't have clients, right? In order to enjoy your job by training clients, you need to have sales first, right? And if you were a trainer too, and the busier when I was a trainer, the busier my schedule got, the more clients came in. That is a simple rule. If you keep your slots empty and you're free the whole day, nobody wants to train with you, right? It's a human mentality. I mean, I I don't regret those times at 16 years. The one thing I'm a bit sad about is how it ended, right? And obviously, I also realized one thing, however a leader acts, the people below will follow. It's a very big thing to learn, right? Right? And I saw it firsthand in Cali, which made me realize this is how I want to be, and this is how I don't want to be, right? And it made me clearly put my values out and say, you know what, this is wrong, right? Yeah, and but then again, it was an organization, right? It taught us survival, right? And I remember telling myself that there's no bad club, right? Heard this so many times. There's no bad club. You can always manage it to make it work, right? And yeah, a leader set culture. But as much as we don't want to talk about it, we had not a very good culture, right? I didn't look forward to certain meetings, right? But at the same time, there was good and bad in it. You learn to survive. You learn to
But
create.
I,
Yeah,
I, I, I got to pause you here for a while. There are
yeah,
certain meetings we attended, and
yeah.
there was racial commands or commands or whatever you call it. People were indirectly directing, and even at that point of time, I think we just have to be. We kept quiet, and we were in a very a calm situation, right? The comments that we get, right? But looking at all
Mhm.
these things that happened in the past, all right?
Yeah.
I think I got to say that I think I dare to say that you and I have pretty good damn patience. Do you agree? I don't know. I just starting to feel what we are, right?
Okay.
Because now
Let,
we have
let,
almost 30 viewers right now watching us, and I dare to say
yeah.
that I think we have the patience. If not, you
Yeah.
and I have left long time ago.
Yeah. I did not want to leave not doing well, right? So I always wanted to, if I left at the top, right? I think that the company restructuring we had, where I went from the continuous manager, where I didn't have anyone to report to, the general manager, that that rocked it. I also think that you came with a plan today, right? With the Cali mindset, right? Which is very interesting. This is content, right? But yeah, I wouldn't want to touch on the racial comments, but it was very direct. It was in your face. I remember one meeting I attended where um yeah, somebody said that, oh, I can't fire you because you're doing your job, but I don't like you, right? But yeah, that is what it is, right? And I was lucky in the sense that every club I went to, I always had people working with me and for me, right? So I had always had a group of people that were very supportive, even the trainers. One of the things I actually learned was if you make the people below you grow, right, and they start making money, and you help them manage their stress. So if you're managing everybody's stress, then who's going to manage your stress? That's what you got to do. You see, that's how it works, right? But when I walk into work every day, I'm all smiles, no matter how stressful it was, no matter how the meeting went. Yeah, it was always like, oh, you got to do this or you don't make it, or you do this or don't make it. It was a very yeah,
But I got to stop you for a while because I think
yeah,
you didn't, or either you or myself, we didn't take it as a job because even not even a single day that I thought it was a job because there was just full of passion. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, we are looking at dollars and signs to bring back home, but with the
uh,
kind of commitment and
yeah,
the never saying never or not willing to give up because we was having tons of obstacles every single day
yeah,
from administrations, from operations, from even
mhm,
managing. And if you look at it, I will again will say that sometimes it's not just about doing your job, but it's about the people around us, the office politics. Even right now, it's happening in most of the places, unfortunately, right? But
yeah,
some people
correct,
just playing with it, some people can't take it and they just leave. So
yeah,
office politics is conquering, and another part, we also be looking at favoritising the boss. If you always give the good stuff and talk good stuff, always with the boss, I think you are safe. So we
yeah.
have Sham here said apart from racial issues, corruption also was fantastic. When clients were qualified at the door and were fed to the favorite trainers to close, while we were given ikan bilis. I know this guy. You know him, right, Sasi?
I think so too. Yeah,
Yeah. I know this guy.
yeah,
This guy is a great, um, uh, such an involvement in the fitness, but he
mm,
is. I mean, I mean, if I don't mind sharing this, I think he doesn't like to do sales. But at that point
Mm.
of time, you can't do sales, you can't be a trainer. That's it, simple.
Yeah.
You can be having like a degree, a PhD in sports science, and psychology, or nutritionist, or you can even have a doctorate or a doctor, MBS or whatever. But as long as you can't do sales, how from the door or KPI comes in, or you
Okay,
can't even walk.
but I think the most effective way of managing that process was having different group of trainers, right? So yeah, having different group of trainers, because at the end of the day, when I first started when I became a manager for the first time, there were 45 different trainers. Not everyone did sales, right? Not everyone did sales. But at that process is, who are your good trainers. You know who's never going to miss a session, who's going to always be on time, right? I mean, the thing is, people take this sales too literally, right? And there were some managers that if you can't sell, you're not going to get a new client. But unfortunately, right, some people who don't really can't bring themselves to sell are the best trainers, honestly, right? I mean, Varun, let's face the fact, you were one of the best salespeople I've ever met. Right? But if I'm a manager and I'm managing with someone like you or my team, right? It's like a soccer game, right? If I can have Cristiano Ronaldo there scoring the goals, but if I don't have people to pass the ball to him, he's not going to be scoring the goals, right? So if you were the best in sales, right? And I had people who were, if you sold a lot of clients and you started training them, I wouldn't have time. You wouldn't have time to do sales, right? And with the targets that we were given, we had to be smart, right? Somebody has to do more sales, right? I can't let you keep all the clients. I got to take the clients, pass it to the good trainers who never miss, who makes their client gets results, and the clients always renew, right? So we always had that trainers that kept renewing clients, and the clients. I mean, let's face the fact: personal training at that point in time was a bit of a luxury. It wasn't a necessity, because when the average human being came to the gym, they're not going to say, "Here's my credit card. Please sign me up on 50 sessions." They're not, because Singapore wasn't like that. They looked at personal trainers like the person who's going to be their drill sergeant, do 20 reps or else. But personal trainers, what I believe in, is a personal trainer that gets you from point A to point Z. So he plans out B, C, D, E, F, G for you. And a personal trainer, you not only need to train your client, you got to motivate your client. You got to make sure they don't feel tired. You got to make sure they don't skip sessions. And as a manager, you always saw that trainer who was busy, whose clients never cancel on him, right? And another trainer whose clients cancel all the time, right? And that clients never cancel on trainers who are always busy because they are afraid of losing their slots, right? And they're so motivated to get results and train with the trainer. So it's a plus and minus kind of situation where you needed to have a group of good service trainers, and you need your salesperson. Unfortunately, we were given insane targets, right? It's absolutely insane. There's no way we could have just everybody train, everybody service your sessions, everybody renew the clients. We can't do that, because our targets were like 240,000, and yeah, if you divide 240,000 by 30 trainers, that is a lot of money. Each trainer has to hit $8,000 or 10,000. Yeah.
But
So,
okay,
mm,
I will do some pushback. All right, this conversation is
mm,
not going smooth like a bed of
yeah,
roses. It's going to be a bed of thorns right now. So
yeah,
can we say that a person who does great sales
uh,
survives better than the one who can't do sales, but he has a full of passion for fitness and he just
uh,
doesn't do sales, but he just into servicing.
uh,
That guy doesn't hold his job any much longer, because if he doesn't hit his KPI, or you will put
uh,
under uh, PIP, performance improvement plan, and eventually
yeah,
you'll be kicked out because you can't do sales.
yeah,
Either
yeah.
you do it
So,
my way or you get out your way.
okay, so the thing is, there's leadership by dictatorship, and there's true leadership, right? Honestly, if someone doesn't hit KPI, right? And he's okay with servicing his clients. Use your job as a manager, I feel, to make sure this guy hits his KPI, right? So you got to have a team. I mean, I have to admit that hitting goal wasn't easy, and we were given big targets. So, but it is about managing. What Kelly taught me then was you got to have your team with different talents. You got to have one team ready to make phone calls, right, and book the appointments. You got to make another team um, doing that service sessions. You got to have another team doing their first sessions where you close the client and you tell them, you make them believe that they're going to hit their targets and achieve it and sell the package, and then move it on to a good trainer. What we could have done better, we could have not sold so much. We could have made sure all clients were serviced a lot better. It could have been managed a lot better, bro. So honestly, I think that guy.
Sorry, Sasi, but then again,
Yeah.
it is up to you or up to
Uh-huh.
me to do that, because that is the procedure of the company. Because somebody have to go so that they make money. So it's just like a MLM, right? Multi-level marketing. It's just coming down. So in order for somebody in higher than us who wants to earn that extra dollars, you have to drive, because assume that you have 50,000 lesser to hit your department goal for sales, right? And you have, because as a manager you take charge of both membership and PT sales. But if you are shortage of certain numbers, what do you do then? You go to all of them and ask, well, how much can you contribute? But if you really can't contribute, and then the pressure is coming down from the top to you, saying that, hey, you got to hit, if not I won't get hit. So it's purely a MLM, and you have been stressing the trainers. And this particular trainer, because I've seen this many times, and you have seen that, he's a solid, focused, disciplined trainer. But just because he can't do sales and we pressure him, he just leaves for another competitor. We have seen this type of case many. All right, we have trained, we have fired. So hire, train, fire. This was the normal and the organization that we worked for.
That was what we were grown to do, right? I remember hearing about this PT manager that come in and nobody listened to him and firing like 6 or 7 people at one go. And by the middle of the month, he was thinking, oh shit, now I got 7 people left. How do I hit my target, right? That wasn't a very smart move, obviously. But honestly, there is a reason you're a manager. There is a reason some businesses succeed and some businesses don't, right? And because you got to learn, it is never about, I never believe in firing and hiring, I would never believe it, right? Although, because the more you fire and hire, it just creates a culture. Who's going to work for you? Who's going to want to bite their ass off for you? Who's going to walk the extra mile for you, So nobody will, right? People will be working in fear, right? And fear is not always the best motivator. But in order to run a business, right? In order to run a business, you have to have a certain form of hierarchy. You have to have a certain form of follow-up. See who's doing the right thing, who's not doing the right thing. Because if you take your foot off the pedal, right? If you don't press your gas, right? People will relax. People will be content, right? If they don't follow the leader, they fear they might lose their job, right? I would say that even at my level and the company, I mean, obviously I was of a certain level. There was also fear. There was also fear of not being comfortable anymore, right? Not easily going back to this amount of paycheck anymore, So when I would say, I mean, honestly, let's face the fact, Manan. If it didn't happen, if what happened didn't happen, we might still be there, Honestly, we might still be there, right? And everything happens for a reason. Because right now, one of the first things I did when I left Kelly was reduce my commitment levels. Because you don't want to drive a flashy car, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, because the more commitments you have, the more you stress. You can't plan ahead, right? So I remember I mean, this you can take this as a joke, I think in 2008 when I became the general manager, my boss came to me and said, "You know what? You can't drive a Mazda anymore. You got to drive a BMW, right?" And I was like, "What?" And then yeah, but it's like, why? And then it didn't make sense. But there were also good people around, right? To me, there was also, I mean, when you got promoted to a master trainer, I felt it was the best culture to start off with our younger trainers, right? Because people thought of sales as, oh, sales, I must drive numbers. But at the end of the day, you can go be freelance. But if you don't know how to harvest your leads, convert your leads, you're not going to be a good freelancer. Be it you're in the photography field, be it you're in the, let's talk about dentistry. Someone go to school, studies to be a dentist for 4 years of their life, right? But when they open a dental clinic, right? If you realize when you always make a dental appointment, they confirm, they reconfirm, they make sure that chair, there's someone in the chair. Because if there's nobody sitting on that chair, the dentist is not going to make money, right? So at the end of the day, the best trainers knew how to manage a business. Personal training is managing your own business. The more clientele you have, the less time you can spend on each client, right? Every hour you spend with the client, you got to make sure your thoughts, your focus is only on that client, right? And that's how personal training was. And I think we needed to have a better educating system from the start, that people needed to know that harvesting your leads, getting your leads, like collecting your leads, harvesting your leads, and being a good trainer is necessary. You can't sit there. Nobody's going to say, "Hey, Sasi, I want to train with you." Unlikely, you know. Unlike, you got to build your repertoire. I mean, right now, if you look at yourself, right, you build a certain name for yourself, right? And although clients might be there for you, you always got to keep an eye, because nobody takes personal training forever, right? It's personal training. Honestly, there are clients that train with you for a very, very long time. But honestly, personal training is meant to be a journey. A journey you take with this person from point A to point B to point C, and eventually they should be able to do things on their own. They should, right? If they are completely relying on you, then how good a trainer are you? Honestly, are you able to teach? Are you able to coach? I mean, these are the questions that actually come to your mind, right? So I believe that what California Fitness taught me was to look at different aspects of the business, right? And even now, I make it a point to explain to, I don't have a lot of staff in each club. I make it a point to explain how cost works, right? To all my guys, right? How you want, if you want to make this paycheck, if you want to take home this amount of money, this is what you got to do from start, right? So now, though we are small, I can coach them individually, But at the end, when I realized, Kelly, it could have been done better. It could have been we could have been managed better, right? I think we were driving a lot of funds with the lifetime memberships, right? It was insane, the lifetime memberships. I mean, the people who bought lifetime memberships in Asia were the person that works out every single day, right? So in the end, clubs were filled with a lot of lifetime memberships, that all because were sold to fund somebody, right? Yeah, and then the clubs were sold to somebody else who didn't have all these funds anymore. But he has to honor all these lifetime memberships. So it's a process where I learned how not to do a business, and at the same time how to put my foot on the gas so that my business runs in the right direction. So at the end of the day, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Sasi, I just have to interrupt you here,
Yeah.
because I think that is the experiences that went through over the decade, right? Because
Yeah.
day in, day out was a different challenge, and
Yeah,
constantly situation was evolving around us. So that makes
Yeah.
us think on the toes, Sometimes you can be direct, sometimes you can't be direct. Sometimes you got to coach, sometimes you just got to fire. So I mean, in our line,
Yeah.
I don't know whether you have fired, but I think in my sector, where I was holding that post, I think I have done quite a number of firing, because to be very honest, that was the company's direction, right? If you cannot perform to a certain level, Of course, there was coaching, some sayang session, talk, pep talks, and all that. But at the end of the day, the numbers is what you are being judged for, regardless who you are. But having said that, if you are closer to the bosses, then you are pretty much in a very good position. And I think that is what Jayakumar Raj was saying, that subordinates or the employees work in fear if they don't follow the leader. So if someone will go against the bosses, what will happen, Sasi? They lose their job, right? So if
I mean,
you
I personally was threatened a few times, honestly, right? But
okay,
yeah, but I think, I mean, honestly, I mean, if you see some of the guys that have come on, a lot of them, I had a lot of sessions with a lot of my guys. I mean, there is a work issue and a skill issue, right? You know, skill issue, you can train, you can coach, you can train them to be like this. But if it's a work issue where, you know, people don't have the urge to work that hard, right? And I think we only saw this in after 2010, that batch that grew up, they didn't want to work so hard for money anymore, right? Because the earlier batch, the early 2000 batch, the guys that got their personal training certificate, I remember when I did my degree, I was literally one of the handful of people in Singapore that had a sports science degree, right? And then after year 2010, the market was flooded with sports science degrees, right? But it's what you do with your degree that counts, isn't it? At the end of the day, everything is a business, right? And if you fire someone now because they can't do their job, yes, you take off some of the costs, right? And you also answer to the guy who's chasing you for numbers. I fired this person. But honestly, if you don't have people, people are the most important part of the business. If you don't have people, you are going to fail, right? Because if you don't have people, you can't write all the sales by yourself. You can't. There were managers who did that, right? They wrote 50% of the sales by themselves. But that was not the way, isn't it? Because you needed people to build a business. You needed people to enjoy that job. One thing I learned, if you're very anal about the process, yes, right? One thing I learned, in order to be an effective manager, you don't go to the club. You don't chase the number. You chase the process. And I think one of my favorite when I was a fitness manager, right? One of my favorite AFMs was Mr. Zen Lee, right? I don't know whether it's on, but Mr. Zen Lee, because I will always go to him. He's the first person I will motivate, because he will motivate 10 other people. Yeah. So it was a structure, because as long as I can, yes, I needed to hit a number. If not, that's what the company is about. I knew what the company was about. We just needed to drive numbers. But the people did not need to know. The people did not need to know what you need to drive for. There will be people that can only do $5,000 in sales, right? But it is your job to balance out the people who can do more, the people who can do less. But if this person that cannot do much sales, you feed him with clients, and all of a sudden he has 200 service hours or 150 service hours, his renewals are going to be there next month or 2 months later. But if you fire him before he gets there, you kill that person. You kill that opportunity for yourself to grow, for the business to grow. Yeah. So it's a lot of ways around it. I mean, we had a lot of stress. I mean, my obviously, yeah, there was also a little period of corruption as well. The people who sucked up to the boss the most got the most, right? But I mean, we all tried to survive. Like, that is why I wanted to survive there till the end. It was fun. Yeah.
Having said that, also I think it brings up to the next segment of changing of gears. Is
Yeah.
even the coaching process, right? To be a qualified trainer, of course, you need all the certifications, which is
Yeah.
necessary. CPR and AED. You need the basic instructor certification. Of course, obviously, you want to upgrade yourself to have even more in-depth certifications. But having running our own companies right now,
Mm.
those things that happened previously, obviously, it's
Yeah.
not going to happen at this point of time, because the way we learned, the way that we've been trained, how we managed or how we manage others, Probably it's not going to happen. Never is going to happen. But with the tons of experiences that came along the path in our journey, that's
Yeah.
where we are starting to utilize it. And then when you start utilizing it, and he keeps on pushing. So I think when we talk about motivation and character, I think there's a few other things that we can also include in discipline,
Yeah.
selfless, always helping others. But
Yeah.
but to put in a nutshell, if a trainer can't do sales, right? For sure he
Mhm.
can't do sales. But he's a very
Mhm.
good service trainer, even if
Yeah.
he's a freelance trainer or even if he works for a big organization. Can he still survive? I know the answer. I know the answer, but
Mhm.
I want you to say that.
Okay.
Can he survive?
The truth is you got there's more to training than just sales, right? The first process. I mean, if there are a lot of personal trainers on the chat right now, I just want to tell you that it's all about building a brand for yourself, right? I also I've seen a lot of freelance trainers as well. um, the thought process is if you got to sell you in order to get clients, but it is not just about selling. It's about building a brand name for yourself, right? It's about it's about harvesting, right? Jazz says hello, masters. Jazz is one of those guys that has the process that I just met him recently, and it's all about collecting leads, right? If you do not have leads, right, and you do not bring in these people and show them what you can do, show them where they stand, right? And honestly, if in Singapore people thought that, okay, in a lot of other countries, if they need to learn a skill, if they need to get fit, they get professional help, right? If right now, if I want to go learn how to play golf, right, you hire a professional golf coach, right? But people haven't started thinking about that in Singapore yet. So the whole scenario being you need to put thoughts into their head, you need to guide them through what they can achieve, right? If you're looking at selling the first 6 months package, you don't do that. You sell a 10 sessions, and if you're good and the clients can renew, you need to go on. But it's a constant process because there will be clients who fall out, right? There will be clients who fall out. And
So that is
yeah.
our next question. That of
Mhm.
course, before we coming into this question, is just Sasi, personal training. It's personal and training.
Yeah.
Now with the new COVID-19 has
Hmm.
hijacked all our profession, or even for the factor of even the swimming instructors, the
Yeah.
skaters, whatever coaches,
Yeah.
right? The personal and social distancing is torn apart, right? Whether you are doing a freelance training, whether you're working for a big organization, as long you are in the personal training service or providing coaching or
Hmm.
training programs, I think that has been torn apart, right?
Yeah.
Whether this will get better or you will get worse before you get better, obviously. But right now could be the worst, as it might get better in the next upcoming months. But
Yeah.
will people still have that confidence building up again to come back? It will take some time for sure. That's why I think Sashi mentioned here. Do you think
Yeah.
online training will gain more popularity or traction even after the CB period is over? Before you let answer your views, I got to say
Yeah.
that couple of clients that I talked,
Yeah.
they said that they want to do outdoor trainings starting
Yeah.
from whatever the month's going to be. I think there is a lack of confidence. There's a lack of information there because they think that it is easier to be transmitted. But of course, with so much of science been evolving each and every day until a vaccine has been found, till we can conquer. Because right now we are trying to contain it, not conquer yet. But I think when we look at these possibilities, do you think that we will lose traction and maybe the business plans, like what Tashi said, and we might be going back to online even after the CB period? What is your take on that, Tashi?
I mean, if I'm a personal trainer, I want to have some online clients, right? And honestly, everything's gone online. Even my son's soccer classes have gone online, and it is not that easy. Personal training, you got to have the personal touch, right? But there are sessions that you can do online, and the sessions that you can't, right? And I remember I do a couple of online coaching for business owners to help them through their business. And that's different because I look at numbers, I look at figures, I look at what are the processes they need to focus on, right? But personal training, it has always been about the personal touch. And it's a question that's been debated forever because there's this strong batch of personal trainers, right? Including some that used to work for us that used to condemn people doing online training, right? And if you look at the situation now, if you do not adapt to the environment, right? If you do not adapt to an environment, you are at a loss, right? And that person who could have had 3 online training sessions with you, right, might now not be training, right? So that is a question of balancing it up, right? The I think the landscape will change. Um, the there will be social distancing is going to be a norm, right? Even when we get out of this, we go back. Even in my clubs, right? Um, how am I going to social distance all my members coming in? Because I advertise no workout timings. Come in anytime you want. Each round starts in 3 minutes, right? So if social distancing becomes a norm and is a regularity, how are you going to plan, right? That normal Zumba class that you have in a big organization, right? Which used to pack in 80 people. Remember, even the glass doors used to be fogged with vapor because there's so many people inside. You
Yeah.
can't do that anymore, right? And if you can't do that anymore, how are you going to keep your members happy, right? And with that small space, if you can only fit in this amount of members, are you still going to be paying that amount of rent, right? It's a chain process, right? If the reason we had to drive, people don't really get this. People used to say, "Oh, big gyms, they drive a lot of sales, right? They drive a lot of targets." But we are in Singapore. Let's face the honest truth: a 30,000 square feet facility is going to cost you 300,000 in rent. It's a no-brainer, right? If it's going to cost you 300,000 in rent, um, and you're going to have 50 staff, I mean, to manage, right? And I mean, being at a level for that big organization, I saw months that were very good one, and I saw months that we made 60,000 profit, 50,000 profit, right? I saw months that after paying all the stuff, we made zero, we made 10, minus 10, right? It was such a volatile environment because there will be months that your trainers all can renew, right? And there will be months that are not, right? So at the end of the day, um, okay, I lost track of our question. I diverted so much. Yeah. I think the landscape will definitely change, right? Because people have to adapt. And if you see currently right now, the biggest turn in have you heard of Peloton, Leonard?
Sorry again?
Have you heard of this brand called Peloton?
No?
The bike. There's this new brand that's going up. The bicycle that you buy that comes in with a TV screen and you log into live classes, right? And that
Okay.
has got huge investment, way bigger than a normal gym because you can buy that bike, you can work out at home, you can wake up at 6 o'clock and attend a class, right? But at the end of the day, the humans, I mean, we are social creatures. We want to go to the gym, we want to meet people, we want to work out. And you and I mean, we have been trainers for so long. How many of our clients became our friends, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a social component to it. At the end, there's a component that you care, right? And although online training, you can show care, you can follow up, you can see how much this person improves, right? You can't correct form completely, right? You can only demonstrate, right? But I think for personal trainer, your more advanced clients should be the first to go online, right? At least do a couple of sessions online because you've got to be prepared, right? We might be facing this till December. I don't know. Nobody's going to tell us. We can't open I mean, we can't predict this, right? If you are waiting, oh, yeah, government's going to open it June 1st. Today I went to get a haircut and the barber was telling me, oh, yeah, your clubs are going to open on 1st of June, right? And I looked at him, I don't know. I'm not sure, right? And at that point of time, if there's so many uncertainties now, if I start worrying about it, I start pulling my hair out. There's no point worrying about it. So at the end of the day, society has to adapt, be it personal training, right? Be it any other classes, be it your kids who have to go for their exams eventually, right? How are they going to learn from their teacher, right? Are you going to get online tutors? So I think it will change. It will definitely change. There will be more online classes offered. Right now is not the time to completely jump online and advertise an online class because everybody is doing it for free, right? If
Yep.
you want to work out right now, if you want to keep your motivation going, you wake up in the morning, 7 o'clock, you have a coffee, you just switch on your Facebook, you will find one online class. That's how it is, right? But for the ones with clients, do your individual lessons. There's no point throwing out so much content because it is flooded with content. As the situation eases over, I think personal trainers will adapt to having some of their clients online, some of their clients personal. I hope so. I hope there comes a scenario where we can have our clients personal. And I know some of the gyms, with the social distancing, we can't have 20 trainers doing clients at prime time. We can't, right? It's a fact. So we have to plan this out. There has to be some online or some system where you adapt, where clients can log in, you have your session, and you go out. It will change, and it's not only person training, it's lessons, schools, universities, everything's going to change, right? I'm just hoping that EPL, English Premier League, starts again soon, right? Because yeah, I can't live without it for now. I lived without it for 2 months now, so I'm trying to figure out when you come back. But at the end of the day, the new norm is going to be different, right? Everything will go online, right? We just got to see where it takes us, right? There will be business changes. Otherwise, even big companies, we can't run a California Fitness. At prime time, we had 25 trainers doing personal training, plus all the members in the club, plus 100 people in the studio. It's not going to work anymore.
And,
Yeah.
and Sasi, also because if you, like I said, the situation has forced many of the professions in different lines, in either in the fitness aspect or even for hobbies or even sport. It has been total rather a question mark right now rather than a full stop. But as things to take place or get evolved for better, there are so much of things is happening. As the numbers are starting to drop. All right, the community spread is also starting to drop. If you look at it from 20 over something, now it come up to a single digit right now, right? Like 2, 5, and it's fluctuating. But of course, when we look at the dormitory numbers, the dormitory numbers are also a bit, it's a cluster, right? Of course, whatever that's needed to be done is done. But things will get better for sure. Now the question is, as a gym operator, for yourself, Sasi, you have a fight zone, and I visited that a couple of times. I think it's a great concept. People come in for a quick workout and then just get out, so nobody's supposed to loiter. Nobody's supposed to take a selfie with their pictures and then post, nothing sort of that. Probably you might allow maybe one picture or two picture, but I'm not sure whether that can
we actually encourage people to take selfies.
Okay.
It's a process that we go through, but that's why we have that barcode wall, right? That says fight zone, right? But the whole scenario is my club was designed for people not to hang out, not to stay there for 1 hour, right? But the whole scenario being, it is also going to change, because if you look at the buildings we are in, the offices are not going to be there every day now. They are going to work from home, because right now, this 2 months has given us the opportunity to actually realize that you can work from home, right?
Yeah.
Work can still go on, right? You can teach your students from home. You can do your business from home. You can have your calls from home. So I realized that officers will take turns, right? Will take turns working from home. But I also think that people will start realizing that they got to keep themselves fit, right? If you look at the scenario, if you go jogging now, you see a lot of people jogging, right? It's the worst time to be jogging. Never before, right? Never before. Even for myself, right? I started running again recently because not being able to train in the gym, and yeah, it's even when I was in Cali, when I was a manager, I used to train all the time. But now I've just realized that I'm just going to run. I'm not going to weight train. I'm just going to run. I just want to focus on that part of my fitness. So I see a lot of people running because people are realizing that they have to be fit, right?
You
They
know,
can't.
in even if you look at all the households in Singapore right now,
Yeah,
there is a gym in their own house right now.
yeah,
If you have seen my couple of videos that I posted, and also I did some for the organizations and some for the corporates, all the lectures, all the talks, the fitness talks, the motivational, everything is becoming online. So this is becoming the trend right now, and
yeah.
to be also to be on the track, or rather on the path. If you look at it, things are getting more comfortable right now. So people are getting very adaptable to this change. But of course,
Mm,
those who can operate from virtually, that's fantastic. But some who still can't, right? Some, like, you need to be physically there in order for certain businesses to run, and you got rents, in your over your head that's pressing you, and your staff salary.
mm,
So all a constant pressure that's coming in. And I think the topic that we choose today was excellent because it was true about, we're sharing from the bottom of the heart.
yeah,
And probably we might not even share this when we were there as employed. We can't.
yeah,
Immediately we will be fired for sure. Somehow or
yeah,
other. So I
yeah.
think it's a blessing. If those things didn't happen,
Mm,
this journey would not have happened as well. I think we got to be very thankful for what California Fitness has taught us, the good stuff, the bad
yeah.
stuff, and a lot of other
No, I
stuff
mean,
as
it made us into the people we are. Because honestly, if I didn't spend my time in Cali, I wouldn't have learned to run a business. I wouldn't have learned to manage the whole process of how things, what revenue has to come in. There was a couple of managers I learned a lot from. There was Rocky Chow. There was also Vincent. Vincent was a master at getting his processes done. Right, he would
yeah,
chase the processes. Right, everybody had their good part and their bad part. Right, but as long as you absorb the whole process and you understand how this works, you actually get to a stage where it readies you for the outside world, right? It actually teaches you how to deal with people, right? It actually I think dealing with people was one of the biggest things that I learned in Cali lah. Yeah, dealing with either the master that that
Sachin, when you
comes
mentioned
through.
Rocky Chow, I remember
Mm.
because he interviewed me for the position for assistant fitness manager. So it was a very
Uh,
intense meeting. Sit in front of me, and I looked at him like, "Oh my God, what is he going to ask me?" So how do you manage? So how do you do this? Well, okay, you do good. I will get back to you. So he was a great guy as well. But
yeah,
I mean, unfortunately, he left much more earlier. He's
yeah,
very much into boxing, and he brought a lot of kick fit. That's where a lot of boxing classes were, was
yeah,
evolved. The first time ever where
yeah,
boxing was also being introduced into the gym. So I remember very clearly. I think
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the guy who launched kick fit in
Yeah,
Singapore, or rather in the gym
correct.
as a
So
part of
that was the
the.
first time in any gym, right?
That's
But
right.
it gave us it gave us a different avenue for revenue. All of a sudden, we had revenue coming in from personal training. We had clients on kickboxing sessions as well. It it sums up what a business owner should do, right? You don't always stick to one. I learned a lot from the structure that it happened. At the end of the day, then we also had different forms of lessons and kickfit. We called it kickfit, right? Yeah, kickfit actually brought us the personal training department another source of revenue that actually made a lot of money for the company. So there's a lot of things to learn. Rocky Chow was also the person who taught me that there's always a way to find a way out, right? There's always a way to find a way out. If you harvested all your gas, find new gas. If you had, if you had no new new memberships are slowing down, you just find a new way to put fish into your pond. they had this saying, right? You got to keep putting fish into your pond. You can't keep taking out fish from the pond. Yeah, that 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 yeah, it was true, right? It was true, right? But ultimately, we also learned not to do and the good things. Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah,
So definitely we got to be very appreciative, very
yeah,
thankful. Of course, we got our own piece of time and the non-peaceful time. I remember everything was just an obstacle because I think I mean if I don't mind, if you don't mind, can I share this?
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
That the character that developed on me is because of the challenges that I went through with California Finance, because it was the most best training school that everyone I think ever should go, because if you are there, you will come out successfully for sure. Because the amount of stress that you get, the amount of challenges, the obstacles, because every day is a challenge.
Yeah,
And to be very honest, I think not a lot of people will prefer that kind of environment, because the environment is can be harsh, right? It's not it's not all about sugarcoating anymore, right? It's a lot
mhm.
of real as they were talking about. But I think
Yeah,
the opportunities that created, um, of course, we are should be blessed and give our whole appreciation to California Fitness, even to the people, right? Those who give us challenges or those who didn't. But I think they played a significant role in our success as well. I think we have to be thankful for that.
yeah,
I'm going to ask one more last thing before we're
yeah.
going to finish it up, because I think we are almost 1 hour and 10 minutes, and we have almost about 20 over live viewers been following us from earlier on. So, what is your best advice or tip for the day, Sasi? And I'll give mine, and then we'll call it off.
No, I think the best advice is to always not put your
Sorry, Sasi, because if we're going to
yeah,
spend another 1 hour, Mark
yeah,
Zuckerberg from Facebook going to contact us. You know what, guys?
yeah.
I need you. That's going to happen. Carry on,
Yeah,
Sasi.
but I think the best advice is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify your interests, right? At the same time, you, I mean, a true success is, you can never say that this is what I want to achieve and I achieve it. Every time you achieve something, and then you realize you can do a lot better, and then you change your goals as you go on, and that is what brings about true success. And as long as you keep changing your mindset, growing that hill, climbing this hill, and then going to the next one, um, you will do okay. Just don't go overboard with things. Don't be overconfident that you always succeed. Always keep in mind that things can go wrong, and be prepared for it. So when it does go wrong, you're not going to sit down crying, right? Yeah, that's basically it. Whether in business, whether being a trainer, whether in any other business you do, right? So yeah, Vanan, please tell me what's your tip. I mean, can I ask you one last question?
Oh, please go ahead, Sasi. Mark Zuckerberg. Wait. Mark Zuckerberg is calling us. Hi, Mark. Oh, you want to talk to Sasi? Sasi, he's calling you.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, what do you feel now? Are you happier? Are you more at ease with yourself? I think right now I find myself working harder than before because I don't realize I'm working hard. I'm a bit happier. That is my mind's a lot clearer. So I want to hear on your part how
Uh,
things has gone.
I'm going to start off with the word retirement. It seems like a retirement for me at this point of time, even though I'm conducting lots of personal training at this point of time virtually. And it's because of training and development that I went through back in Cali. Because my job or your job in the past was just about training and development, right? We do tons of hiring, we
Yeah,
do tons of coaching, and if we find someone as lack of sales training, lack of in the fitness aspect, something might go wrong in the medical screening
yeah,
or even in the aspect of training. So we are trained and expertised in identifying the issue, and we quickly go into the problem and find a solution and pull that person up. So with all these tons of experience that went through with me, it is pretty much more like a retirement right now, because those things that I wish that will happen in the past didn't happen for a lot
yeah,
of various reasons,
yeah,
because of challenges and obstacles. But right now, it's because of the engagement that was implemented, or rather that I wanted to implement. It didn't happen, and I put it all into a big storage tank of my own personal tank. So whenever I came up with an idea and that idea didn't materialize, I didn't throw away the idea. I just threw it into my tank. And I'm sure that one day this tank will be opened up, and I'm just going to take it one by one out from it and understand, push it to my businesses. And I think everything happens for a reason. Why the company has got to go into a liquidation and push us into all. Even if you look at it, Sasi, even not even for myself, I think every one of us who left the company, forced to left because of liquidation, is successful. Somehow or other they are successful. Somehow or other they are happy. All right, and because of the training, because we have a big spectrum of people that came in and was constantly we are communicating, because we spend most of our time in workplace rather than our family. So I know you so much now. I know your secrets. You know my secrets. We are not going to say now, but I think it's because of that resilience and the determination and not giving up. I think it's where it brought me, because when the day it was liquidated, the company was closed down. I was like, wow. And the first person that I approached when I got to mention this particular person, he played a very significant role in my life. He's one of my very close relation. His name is Dr. Kumar. He is a brilliant, and the way he thinks is amazing. I got to give my appreciation. Because of him, I'm where I'm right now. Because when the company liquidated, the first thing he told me is, well done, Vanan, good job, I'm happy for you. You know what, you deserve a holiday. I'm going to send you to Bali in my friend's house, stay there for 2 weeks, come up with a great plans, and then we discuss. I was like, wait, I lost my job, I lost my career, and you're telling me that I should go for a holiday? He said, no, you should go. So I think his motivation pushed me over the roof. And quickly, within the first 2 weeks, I decided what I should be doing and what I should not do. And I push it through, and I push all the effort and energy into it. So that's where the motivation comes in. So when we decided to talk about motivation, why I think it's very close to our, is because it's through the experiences that we went through day in, day out. And of course, challenges that we came along the way. And oh, wait, we have someone just messaged us. Mr. Vincent Tan. He's in with us as well. Must pull him to here to give a talk as well. Hi, Vincent, how are you? It's been some time that we didn't see you or talk to you. So it's a good to get back to you again. Yeah. So I got to say, Sasi, it's just as the determination, it's tons of blessings. So I mean, I know I'm deviating, I know, but to cut it short, I think when challenges or situation pushes you through the edge, you shouldn't be throwing your towel. Never. You should just fight on, because the moment you throw in the towel or if you give up, that is the end of your life. So I mean, of course, there are chances, but you just going to push and get this thing done. Whatever that is given ahead, any challenges, obstacle, you just got to go ahead and break the barriers to be successful. I think that is my tip or advice.
Yeah. Well done, Vanan. I mean, I think you've come a long way. I've come a long way. Yeah. Thank you for this 1 hour plus. Yeah, it was a good conversation. Right. I'm happy to answer further questions if anybody wants to message. Right.
Yes.
But
actually, a lot of questions are coming up, Sasi, but I'm not sure whether we have the time, because it's 1 hour 15 minutes and constantly viewers are there and they are just asking a lot of questions. We have a lot of, but maybe perhaps we can take that offline and then
we take it offline, and then maybe we'll meet again to discuss a different topic. But yeah. I mean, it was good. I mean, I think we both got excited that we're both online together after a long time, and so much to say. Thank you, Vanan. I mean, I appreciate it, and I think this talk show of yours is doing very, very well. You have some really good people on it and asking relevant questions.
So anyway, stay tuned. More exciting speakers are coming on board. It's already been lined. So we have, if you look at it over the past 2 weeks, it's all about doctors. We have these nutritionists, speakers. So he just a sharing session, but I think this sharing session has been even more deeper. So I got constantly messages that's coming from all our friends and families as who keep on coming in. I thank you so much. So I wish Fight Zone all the best, because once that circuit breaker is over, we're going to do some serious stuff.
I think we'll be fine. I think the fitness industry as a whole will be fine, but people must dare to adapt and change. That's all. Yeah. So thank you.
We just got to ask and then fight. What do you think?
Yeah.
And train.
Correct. Exactly.
Right? If you don't have an option, you just got to do what is given to you. The situation.
Yeah.
Make full use of it.
Exactly.
Okay, Sasi, thank you so much. And it was a pleasure. 1 hour and 16 minutes, one of the longest. Mark Zuckerberg is going to call us for sure. Trust me. He's going to call us, man. Okay, Sasi, thank you so much.
Thank you, bro. Take care. Yeah.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. See ya. Thank you, everyone. Bye.